Hi everyone, my name is PREETIPA, daughter of THURISINKAN. My metric number is 71327. Today I am going to present about my research proposal, which is the relationship between leadership styles and employee engagement in higher education sector. Chapter 1. First, I'm going to explain about background of the study. The past studies employee engagement has been associated with the impact of employee performance, which the research is done by Anita 2014, Bedakar and Panita 2014. Organizational commitment done by Aldober and Altavanar 2014, job demands, job resources and work engagement done by Inor Kawakami, Tuano, Shimazu and Tomokia 2012. And also leadership pedagogism done by Zhang, C. Avery, Brigadisium and Mark 2014. Leadership styles and sociability trait, emotional intelligence done by Kwan and Yan at 2014. Job performance and organizational commitment done by Dajani 2015. And also job satisfaction and job performance done by Shamilan 2015. Now we move to the leadership styles. At the present time, the leadership style has been linked to several variables. The leadership styles has been linked with the nature and significance of leadership, which done by Trothier, Van and Wang 2008. Employee turnover intention done by Long, Tian, Ismail and Yusuf 2012. Job satisfaction and meditating role done by Salim 2015. Strategic thinking done by Cross 2016. Employee motivation Faiz, Sur, Amir and Saib 2017. Zarin, Razik and Mujabah 2015. Quality of work life done by Kara, Kim, Lee and Yusal 2018. Transformational leadership and organizational identification done by Morinzo, Mokro, Topa and Livia Magin 2014. Transformational leadership and job satisfaction done by Belias and Colonis 2014, Muhammad Al-Zaur and Bathene 2011. This research relating between leadership styles and employee engagement where majority conduct in qualitative method and some of the research known that were conduct using quantitative method. Moreover, most of the studies conduct in the international and also Malaysian context. This research will focus in Malaysia, in West Malaysia specifically at Perak. Other than that, most of the past studies conduct in a private sector and some of the research known that were conduct in public sector. Next, I'm going to explain about objective of study. General objective. The general objective of the study is to identify the relationship between leadership styles and employee engagement in government sector. Specific objective 1. to identify the relationship between transformational leadership style and employee engagement. Second, to identify the relationship between transactional leadership style and employee engagement. Third, to identify the most dominant leadership style which influence employee engagement. Fourth, the most dominant leadership factor influence employee engagement. Now we're going to see research hypothesis. The first research hypothesis is there is no relationship between transformational leadership styles and employee engagement. The second hypothesis is there is no relationship between transactional leadership style and employee engagement. The third hypothesis is transformational leadership is more likely to increase the level of employee engagement as opposed to transactional leadership. Hypothesis number 4 is there is no dominant factor that influence employee engagement. The conceptual framework of this study divided into two parts, which are the dependent variable and the independent variable. The dependent variable is employee engagement. Meanwhile, the independent variable are leadership style, which are transformational leaderships and transactional leadership. Next, we're going to see definition of term leadership. According to Wakabi 2016, a process of reassuring and leading hands to complete the task early towards achieving goals called leadership. Operational definition. Leadership is someone who will lead, motivate, and directing the workers in any group or organization in order to achieve the common goals. We move to next term, which is employee engagement. According to Safuli, Solfana, Granos, Roma, and Becquerel 2002, they mentioned that it is a positive, fulfilling, work-related state of mind that is characterized by vigor, dedication, and extroversions. For the operational definition, it is an emotional commitment that employees have towards the organizational and its goals. Third term, it will be transformational leadership. According to Bass 1999, it is the leadership that raises the followers' level of maturity together with concern for achievement, self-accolations, and well-being of others. Operational definition. The perceived leadership characters that able to inspire the followers in terms of excellent attributes, give idealization influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individual considerations. The fourth term is going to be transactional leadership. According to Avalio and Bass 2004, it is the leadership characteristic that build upon giving rewards or compensation for successful fulfilling the work task within a set up contract or agreement with their leader and the followers. Operational definition. It is the perceived leadership characteristic that motivate employee performance by using examining rewards, setting the standard and taking action when errors are perceived. Now we move to contribution of the study. The contribution of this research can be seen in several ways. Firstly, this study can contribute to the body of knowledge for literature in organizational development, organizational behavior. Moreover, this study also can provide useful review towards the management literature, as this study intends to determine the relationship between two important leadership topologies, which is transformational leadership and transactional leadership with employee engagement. This is because there are limited study has been conducted on use of full range leadership model, which is FRLM. The finding from this study will in turn add up the literature on FRLM. Other than that, this study also can serve as the evidence of employee engagement studies at different contexts, as well as it also contributes to the higher education study literature. As we know, majority of the past study on employee engagement has been studied in the context of private sector, banking sector, as well as hospital, and this study focusing on employee engagement in higher education sector. Moreover, this study also can contribute for the employee engagement literature, as it focusing on examining the relationship between leadership styles and employee engagement itself. Other than that, this study also contribute a body of knowledge evidence that can be used by a specific group of people, which are people at middle and top of management. The finding from this study will help them to get a greater knowledge on what type of leadership styles can help improve the employee engagement. Other than that, also, this finding can help them to understand which leadership style can promote greater employee engagement. Lastly, this study can contribute and also providing information on the organizational practices, climax, and behavior to ensure the employee engagement in the organization always in high as possible. Now we're going to see limitation of study. This study will only cover a small geography area, as this for case. This study will be conducted at Thapa Pera, where specifically target to choose a higher education institution in this city. Furthermore, the sample that will be used for this study will be limited to the employees that are working in the chosen organization. It will not be made viable for other employees from another higher education institution. In that meanwhile, the data collection, it will be limited only using questionnaire that will be distributed to the respondent. The idea behind this method can help to avoid several problems that are related to the time and cost. At the same time, the relationship between leadership styles and employee engagement will be measured by using transformational and transactional leadership styles only. It will not cover other leadership styles. Now we're going to see chapter 2, which is literature review. First, employee engagement. According to Sufuli and Becker 2004, employee engagement have positive result for the organization. It can be seen in terms of their commitment as well as their loyalty toward the organization. From this statement, we can see that the engaged employee tends to be trust their organization. They are free and open to communicate as well as able to demonstrate good attitudes and behaviors for their organization. In addition, it is believing the employee engagement at work can influence by well-being of the employee themselves. According to Inert ETAL 2013, employee work engagement can be perceived as positive, fulfill work-related state of mind that can be characterized by the vigor, dedication. Leadership have been proven that to have a significant effect on behavior and attitude to the followers or employee on their jobs as well as their well-being. According to Salim 2015, in today's organization, the leaders are some who are expert to begin changes and ensuring success of their organization. According to Minsberg 2010, true leaders are someone who can attract them by their humanity and excellent consideration because they put themselves in other situations and ensure that what they do it for the benefit of all and not for individual gains. Now we're going to see transformational leadership. Transformational leadership is still relatively new towards the management study. According to Muhammad Al-Zawar and Bataya 2011, transformational leadership is more towards to the development of the followers and progress, solitary bringing up self-confidence, authority, as well as complement. As we know, transformational leadership characterized by their own distinct factors such as idealization, influence, attribute or behavior, inspirational, motivational, intellectual simulation, and individualized consideration that told by Bass and Avlio in 1994. Now we're going to see transactional leadership. According to Trother, Watt and Wang 2008, the leaders who perceive are relying more on the exchange of resources with the followers as compensation for attaining the goals are seen to be transactional leader. According to Bass and Avlio 1990, in their study, stated that the leaders who are transactional approach in motivating employee usually employ the use of rule enforcement, contingencies, rewards, and corrective action. Transactional leaders usually will pay close attention to the followers, workers in order to identify what is wrong and what is needed to be fixed in order to ensure goal performance at time. Now we're going to see research theory and model. In this study, I'm using one type of research theory, which is full range leadership model, which is FRLM. There are many theories and they are used to explain the leadership and leadership style in past decades, stated by Northouse 2007. Some of the theories include the great man theory, behavioral theory, situational theory, transactional theory, and also transformational leadership theory. However, for this purpose of this study, we only focusing on full range leadership model, which is FRLM, will be employed in order to represent the idea of the research. Moreover, FRLM has distinct differences from the other leadership theory or model, and it allows the researcher to identify effect of each leadership behavior on the subordinates. Samad, Riaban, Davis and Ahmad 2015, which make it suitable to test on this study too. And also the FRLM was introduced in 1990s by Bruce Ovelier and Bernard Bass. On top of that, the FRLM is suitable to determine the relationship between leadership style and employee engagement, and the target respondent for this study is the followers, the employee, and not their superior of their leaders. Therefore, FRLM is suitable to represent this study because it is focusing more on individual perspective rather than the examiner the whole organization perspective, stated by Gill 2006. Chapter 3. Now I'm going to explain about Chapter 3, which is methodology. First point, research design. The purpose of this study is to identify the relationship between leadership styles and employee engagement. Therefore, this study will be conducted by using the means of descriptive and analytic methodology. At the same time, this study will be conducted by using quantitative method or approach and correlation research design. This is because the chosen design is useful in explaining the relationship between variables used in this study. On top of that, quantitative research design is suitable to be used in these studies because it's explaining the relationship between measurable variables. Furthermore, another research design that will be used and conduct in this study is descriptive research design that fall under non-experimental research. Descriptive research design will involve the gathering data that will be describe the events. The data then will be organized, tabulate, analyze and describe. According to Glass and Hopkins 1984, the data then will be organized, tabulate, analyze and describe. On top of that, the study will be used the survey type of research design. This is because this method is suitable to be used in achieve the objective of this study. As for this study, the survey method will be carried out of use the structure questionnaire to gather primary data from the participant of this study. Moreover, this survey method is chosen for this because it is required less time and less cost. Next, we are going to see population, sample and sampling procedure. To be specific, population has been chosen to fulfill this research objective are the employee in higher education sector at Tapapera. To be more specific, the employee chosen will be concentrate on all the staff which in academic staff and non-academic staff and not includes the other employee that working outside the office. For this study, researchers will choose the higher education sector that focusing on academic staff and non-academic staff. To be more specific, the selection higher education institutions will focus on college community Tapapera. Therefore, no sampling technique is required. Next, we are going to see the instrument. The questionnaire that will be used in this study will be adapted and modified from the several studies that have been done in previously. The most appreciated type of questionnaire that will be used in this study are close-ended with a fixed range of possible answer. Moreover, the item in the questionnaire will be formulated and according in the research objective in this study. The reason for choosing questionnaire as an instrument for this study because it will be easier to gather data from the respondent and also it can be collected as soon as they are found on answering the questionnaire. There will be a several section included in the questionnaire for this study. The questionnaire will begin with section A will be the section for demography information of the respondent and followed by 4 sections for each variables that used in this study. This section B will be comprised of items that represent the transformational leadership followed by section C which comprises of item of represent the transactional leadership. According to Avlio and Bass 2014, the item used in section B until section C will be adapted and modified from the multi-factor leadership questionnaire short version which is MLQ 5X short that was developed by Avlio and Bass 2004. There will be 32 items in this section B until section C and it will be measured by using 5-point Likert art scale. Next, we are going to see validity and reliability. Validity and reliability is the key of indicator in measuring the quality of instrument that have been used in this study. Therefore, it will be necessary to measure both validity and reliability of the instrument that will be used in this research. According to Salkin 2014, validity of instrument is needed to measure accuracy of the questionnaire before it can be distributed to the respondent. As for this study, the instrument that will be used and consists that were adapted from LQX5X shot developed by Avlio and Bass 2004, and also UWES developed by Shafuli and Bakar 2003. However, their item of instrument will be modified in order to suit to the study. Therefore, chances of validity and reliability to changes, and it is necessary to be measured. Now I am going to tell about pilot test. 30 questionnaire will to distribute to the 30 respondents that will be chosen randomly from higher education sector. Questionnaire for pilot were all collected. The data from the questionnaire will be analyzed by using the statistical package for social science, which is SPSS software. Next, we are going to see Corn bunch alpha test. Corn bunch alpha value should be higher than 0.65, which is indicate the acceptable value for reliability of the instrument to be used in achieving the research objective. Now we are going to see the ethnic of the study. When the population or sample were successfully identified, the researcher will explain to the respondent about the purpose of the study as well as they were chosen to be the respondent. The reason behind this explanation to ensure whether respondents are interested or not to become the sample used for this study. At the same time, all the respondents in selected higher education will be given the right to withdraw from participation in this study. On top of that, researcher will keep all the given information by respondent confidential and strictly used for the research purpose only. This table shows the process and timelines of this study. Now I am going to explain about conclusion. In the conclusion, this study is about the relationship between leadership styles and employee engagement in higher education sector. As for this study, the survey method will be carried out throughout use of the structural questionnaire among academic staff and non-academic staff at college community Tapapera. As for the study, there will be 30 questionnaires to distribute to the 30 respondents that will be chosen randomly from higher education sector. The author is grateful to the journal and humans references for the extremely helpful idea on how to improve the article content. Usually disclaimer apply. Next slide will be my references that I use for this study. Thank you.